Hello, this is Rob Mazak, and I'd like to take a moment to welcome you to the Life by Mazak podcast channel. Here on this channel, anything is possible. Any subject will and usually is discussed, and there's no telling how this message will unfold as we work through an idea, through an experience, or through a thought. These subjects come from the vast amount of information and experience through spirit, through life lessons, and from working with a lot of other people. Scripts are never used on this channel, and the message simply unfolds as the subject is discussed. Follow along and see where it leads us, or more specifically, where it leads me. These podcasts are produced in the hopes of helping others to benefit, to grow, and to excel in their own human experience. At Life by Mazak, we work towards helping you achieve wellness for your mind, your body, and your soul using many specialized services. Services that include psychic medium and tarot readings, quantum healing hypnosis, past life regression, intuitive Reiki healing, life coaching, and many other services. If you enjoyed this podcast, please click the like button and share this with others. Our goal is to reach as many people as we can with the knowledge that is shared on this podcast channel. Hi, everyone. It has been a hot minute since I've done a podcast or a talk where I just come up with an idea and just kind of roll with it and see where we go. And what I wanted to talk about tonight, wherever you are, depends on the time, I guess, is going back to success and all that is entailed with that. And I know I talk about it a lot. Many people talk about it. It's talked about quite a bit because a lot of people, and most of us, would really like to be successful. And for every single person, actually, the term success means a lot of different things. And it's something that you have to define in order to reach that level of fulfillment that you are seeking. And the reason I really circle back on that today is because I've watched recently many people, I say many, several recently, that have really put time and effort into a craft, a job, a way of life, way of making a living, only to have it taken away from them instantly. Things like that happen. Sometimes we make bad decisions, we do things we shouldn't do perhaps, or it's just that time. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why things end in our life. If you get wrapped around the idea that success is a destination, then, you're going to be very distraught and you're going to be completely lost when something you've been trying to shoot for, the goal you've been trying to get to, or maybe you are at the goal you want to be at, gets taken away somehow, or it disappears, or the offer is gone, or the job is gone, or the whatever. We got to remember, I think, at least for me, is that the journey to trying to achieve a goal or to gain something, to have things or whatever, is really where the happiness or the fulfillment happens. I don't really think it's so much in having things as it is trying to get things or achieve things, whatever that is. For some people, success is lots of money, cars, women, men, whatever. Could be that, you become the best at something. You're the best florist or you're the best dog groomer. It doesn't matter. I mean, everybody has their idea of what success is. And it really doesn't matter, to be honest, what other people consider as success. And if we're measuring ourselves against other people, we could really find ourselves in the wrong place. I heard a saying today that just really struck me really right in the face. I mean, it's just like, oh my gosh. I mean, I listen to a lot of motivational type YouTube videos while I'm working out, especially I like to go on a walk around the camp I stay on, and it's usually a couple of hours. So, I mean, you can really fill your head with a lot of cool sayings and motivation and all that. And somebody said something to the effect that happiness is in having things. Happiness is in achieving things. And happiness is really very elusive type definition as well. It is kind of crazy that we all chase these ideas of happiness and success and prosperity and wealth and all these different things, and we tend to measure them against other people, like I mentioned earlier. And I think that's where we find ourselves in trouble, because really the people that have become someone, let's just put it that way, somebody important, somebody special, somebody wealthy, somebody influential, they did not follow what everybody else did. They paved their own way. And so in our pursuit of happiness, or happiness of pursuit is where we should be at, I think we need to measure only against ourselves. Because if we're measuring against other people, we're trying to compete with other people, it really isn't necessarily our race anymore, is it? It's their race, and you're trying to compete against them in their race, and I don't think you're going to get as far as you think you're going to get. Yes, revenge is kind of cool, or showing somebody that you can be better than them, can help you drive success, sure. But the thing is, the person that you're really competing against, or the entity, right, is you. Because the only thing that really stands in our way for us achieving what we want is primarily us. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes there's situations that we find ourselves in, maybe we were born in a poor country or whatever, there's a lot of things that really kind of are out of our control. But by and large, our success, or where we go in life, or what we do, really depends on us and competing against ourselves, trying to become a different or a better version of ourselves than we were today, perhaps, and trying to do something that improves our wellness, improves our life, improves our way forward each day. And the thing is, a lot of people have really settled in on the average, and it seems like everybody's okay with average these days. Don't get me wrong, that's okay. I mean, if people are happy where they're at, whatever that definition is, I mean, that's cool. But there are those people, probably a small percentage, that really want to break out of the mold and not just follow the herd. Because generally, if we follow the herd, we're going to get nowhere different than the herd. We find ourselves frustrated, and we wonder why we are frustrated and why we can't get anywhere. It's because if we do the same things everybody else is doing, we're going to get the same things everybody else has. And if that's what you want, that's cool. And maybe, I don't know. It's got to be more than that, I think. I think that us, or me at least, in my life, is I really want to not necessarily stand out and be popular, and I'm not worried about that. But I want to make my way and carve a niche for myself, change the world in some unique way as best I can. And, that's a really tall order, I guess. But I think in striving to create a better world, we have to also strive to create a better us. Because, I mean, you can force change, but forcing change really doesn't do much good. I mean, you can't take a glass that's half full of water and wage war on the emptiness to create more fullness. It just doesn't work that way. You have to fill the glass with more of the good stuff, whatever that is: happiness, wealth, success. Fighting against anything is what you find yourself actually becoming what you're fighting. And so we have to be careful with that. Back to what I was originally talking about, it is so easy, especially today, for us to get the rug taken out from underneath us. And we find ourselves starting over or having to go a whole different direction because, quote unquote, life seemed to change the direction for us. And, in many ways, maybe we're doing it to ourselves. Doesn't matter. But for this particular conversation, anyway, it doesn't matter. When we find ourselves in those positions, sometimes we got to realize that perhaps it is time to climb a new hill, to climb a new mountain, and try something different, and then focus on a new direction, a new goal. And, sometimes fighting our way back to the old is not really the best way to do business. I don't know about you guys, but how many times have people or maybe yourself, including me, have gone back to old girlfriends or old boyfriends or wives or husbands or whatever, old relationships, thinking that it's going to be different, because for some reason that's just that comfort zone. And guess what? It really hardly ever works. It's going back to what you used to be or what you thought you were, going back and looking at that or experiencing that for real or in real time. It really is. It's just when you get there, you're like, wow, why was I wasting my time? Why was I spending my time thinking that my younger version of myself was better than it is now? And maybe it was. I mean, I'm not saying that every time you go back to a relationship or you go back to an old job or an old town or an old school or whatever, that it's not going to work out. But generally, it's not. It seems like we want to gravitate into the comfort zone, go back into what feels normal, what feels safe, what we know, or at least what we think we know. But I don't think that that's what life's about. That's just me talking, of course. I think that life is about carving out new things, climbing the mountain, getting to the top, and not resting at the top. Because if you rest at the top, you're just going to get old, fat, out of shape, poor, and all those things. You gotta go back down the mountain and climb another one. Because I think that's what we have to do here in this life. I believe that is why we're here. And I don't think we should sit on our backsides and just wait on other people to help us. We've got to help ourselves and realize that things are going to happen to us in life, and that's just the way things are. I've had many times where I've never been fired, don't get me wrong, where life has just completely changed my direction, and I just wasn't expecting it, or it just was very unexpected. Can really take the wind out of you sometimes. But if you begin to look at life as your painting or your portrait that you are painting along the way, you begin to realize that within every instant, every moment, every change is always an opportunity. And when we reach a point in life where opportunities are no longer, then, I don't think it's life. As long as we have breath in our lungs, right? As long as our heart is beating, we aren't dead yet, then, we're not done. We're not through. We have things to learn. We have a relatively short life to do it in too, if you think about it. And most time when you're young, you don't think about those things. I didn't. But when you get older like me, you really begin to start to analyze your life and look at things. And I'm not upset about the things that I've done. There's many things that I've gotten to do, great opportunities, things I've gone after, and things I've succeeded in, and lots and lots of successes. But when you get older, you start to begin to think, what else is there that I can do? What other challenge can I have? And once again, you have to be careful if you ask for that as well, because I did that not long ago, and here I am in the work I do now. And boy, let me tell you what, it is challenging. It is quite intense for the most part, and it's like all day, every night. It's just crazy. And so you have to be careful what you ask for, because your body listens to you, your cells listen to you, your subconscious mind listens to you, and it will follow your direction without question. In the idea of success and happiness and all of those things that you would like to pursue, I think the biggest part of that equation is deciding what it is you want, deciding what it is that you want to achieve. It could be one thing, it could be many things, but you have to be careful that you don't get so scattered in the amount of things you're chasing that you'll never get any of them. I really do think you have to narrow that stuff down, because when I first started this business that I'm in, I was going after all these credentials and certifications and licenses and all these different things. I was trying to figure out how I could, possibly just have this smorgasbord of services and things I could do for people, and they come streaming in the door. And I had to have some really smart people pull me aside and go, that sends the wrong message to people. for one thing, you're not going to be super good at very much of that if you're trying to be good at all of them. And you need to narrow that down to, let's say 4 or 5 things and get really good at those things, become masters of those. And then you will find people coming your way, and people will look at that much better, in a much better light, when you are super good at, a thing or two, instead of trying to be marginally good at lots of things. And that's inherently how I am. I just like to experience so many things. I like to do things. I like to know things. I like to, have just all kinds of credentials. And that's what's kind of bred into my mind, especially the generation I grew up in. It's a little different than it is now. As we pursue our happiness, or as we're pursuing what we want, we've decided that, we've written it down, we've recorded it, listened to it every night, whatever, really burn that into your brain. Then you have to really go after those things with as much effort as you can, because if you don't, it's so easy to get distracted these days. Super, super easy. When I was growing up, we didn't have nearly the same distractions. Oh, we had some, sure, but nothing like now. I mean, my phone, if you were to see how many emails I have to monitor and chirp, chirp, chirp all day long, and messenger apps and texts and phone calls and all the computers I have 2 here, I have 3 in my office. I mean, it's just crazy the amount of distractions that I have, and it's so easy to get caught up in that and really forget what it is you need to accomplish each day. It's kind of like dumbing us down a lot in many ways. Screen time is something that has probably become the downfall of mankind. My youngest daughter said it best, a while back. She said that her generation is being ruined by social media. She said, social media is ruining my generation. And I mean, if you think about it, it's absolutely true, because it's hard to believe what's out there on online now, and the internet and social media, because it's so easy to use AI and all that. It's crazy. But the point to all that, sorry, I digressed a little bit there, is distractions are immense in this world. And every day, there's somebody trying to get your attention. Every day I have, piles of emails that, people want, we can help you with your business. But, I'm sure you want a loan, right? I mean, it's just like intense. Everybody is just chirping at me, pinging me. And of course, it's hard for me to ignore that, because having any unread emails in my box is kind of tough for me. But I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying it's just a bombardment of information that is just becoming this huge overload, and it is bogging down the processing and the focus that we have. It is so difficult to focus these days with all the things that are going on in the information technology world. People sit in front of a TV for hours and binge watch shows, and football on Sunday for 4 hours for a game. I mean, a 1 hour football game can last 4 hours. It's crazy. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't relax and you shouldn't do things. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, if you really look at your time, because what is the biggest excuse people have that they cannot achieve their goals or get things out of life that they want? I don't have time. And that is absolutely the wrong answer. Because if you were to really analyze how much time you spend doing things that are not directed towards your goal, or things that are simply not directed towards anything meaningful for your life, you would be probably astonished and maybe even ashamed of yourself if you really broke down how much time you spend staring at a screen, for example, or drinking with your buddies, or doing things that just really don't contribute to where you want to go in life. And I don't think that's fair to you. It's not fair to anybody. We are our own worst enemy. We have our mind that knows us so well that it will find all kinds of ways to keep us in the comfort zone, to keep us quote unquote safe, from fear and ridicule and what would other people think, how would they feel. All these things, your mind is programmed over your lifetime to keep you from going to areas that are scary or fearful. It's like you got this person in your head that is living rent free, is in there driving everything that happens in your life, and you're allowing them to live there rent free, unchecked, unsupervised. And if you really were to look at how we speak to ourselves and how we talk to ourselves, we would never, well, most of us would not socially accept talking to others like we talk to ourselves. We talk so horribly about ourselves and to ourselves. It's amazing. I mean, if you were really honest with yourself and really listen to your thoughts about yourself and about your goals and about your friends and your family, everything that's going on in your life, you would almost be sickened about it. Because when I was going through my personal improvement journey, I guess you'd say, many years ago, I decided I needed to journal these things. And my journals, I tell you what, it's scary to read them because the amount of horrible thoughts that I was putting down in raw format and not changing it. It was very tempting, of course, but not changing it. It's just like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine that a human being could think like that or think that way about themselves and be okay with that. And so we have to be mindful of a lot of things in this life. Not only are there distractions out there like we talked about, but we are also distracting ourselves. And it is just absolutely crazy. And we are also becoming so dependent on medications and different things to help us focus and to stay well and all that things, which is really another circling the drain type of thing. And we are just going an absolute direction that we should not be going. We are going towards a journey, most of us, that we would never accept. And the problem is that most of the time we don't even realize it's happening to us. And you look back 10 years, I challenge you to do that. Look back 10 years ago and where you were in life. And most of us would find that we are doing the same things that we did 10 years ago. And most of us also wonder why we're not successful, why we don't have better opportunities, and why. And it's because we keep doing the same things over and over again, expecting a different result. Einstein said that, right? That's the definition of insanity. And that's what we do. We do it all the time. Do we do it on purpose? Not necessarily. Our subconscious mind is programmed over all these years through experiences and things we say to us, things we allow to infiltrate our mind, TV, shows, internet, social media, all those things get embedded into our programming. Next thing you know, we are on automatic pilot doing things or not doing things, either way, that should actually happen or should not happen. And here we are, And so I would also challenge you guys to look forward 10 years. Look forward 10 years from now and imagine your life doing exactly what you're doing now 10 years down the road. Can you imagine doing the same thing you're doing now for another 10 years? Maybe you could. Maybe you're living your dream. Maybe that's absolutely the best thing you've ever done. Maybe you were there, but most of us are not. Most of the time, if we don't change something, we're simply just going to be 10 years older, and nowhere farther in life than we were before. And, and that sometimes that even seems very far-fetched to even think, why should I even try to amass a bunch of money or things or wealth or fame when it could be taken away from us? And it does happen all the time. Why would I even bother? Some people are really in that mindset as well, and they find themselves frozen. I think that we should all set some type of goal. I am lousy at setting goals. Don't get me wrong. I'm preaching to the choir. For me to go in a direction it's more of a big picture than a bunch of small details and a bunch of steps and all these things. Other people, they love the details, do little goals along the way. But however it works for you, set yourself a path forward, because if we don't know where we want to go, we may not like where we end up. Imagine going to a shooting range for a competition, and the instructor or the range control officer says, "All right, time to fire, everybody," and there's no targets down there. I mean, everybody's gonna go, "What am I supposed to shoot at? How are you gonna score me? How can I judge this or see what kind of proficiency I have?" And he's like, "No, just go ahead and shoot." Well, I mean, that's what most of us do in life, right? We don't have a target to shoot at, yet we're just out there shooting, and we have no idea what we're shooting at. We have no idea how to measure it. We have no idea how to align that with our goals. I mean, you got to have something to shoot at. It doesn't have to be big, but something that you can move forward with each day is really helpful. And so I've kind of rambled on a lot, haven't I? But success, like I said, is a personal definition. Happiness is a personal definition. And I think that most of those things that we talked about today are quite elusive, and they're not really a solid thing to chase. Success is so elusive in definition. How do you know when you're there? Well, I don't know. I mean, that's really up to us, right? Happiness is very elusive definition. How do you know when you are happy? Is it simply the absence of being unhappy? You have to define that, don't you? And we really do need to do that. I mean, I heard a definition today on one of those videos that says, this guy says, I'm always happy. He said, I measure it against, if I'm not devastated, then I'm happy. And I'm like, well, that's one way to look at it. And, everybody has their own way of judging where they are in life, what the measuring stick is they're using to figure out whether they're moving forward, backwards, sideways, nowhere, all that. And so we have to do that. We have to get the dictionary out for ourselves, define those things, figure out how to put them into play, put them out in front of us, and actually go after some of those things. You would be surprised. You really would be surprised if you just put some effort into it, get rid of some distractions, and look forward where you could actually go in life. And it's not always just in hard work, because if hard work was the key to everything, there's a lot of people working hard that are, that should be paid a lot more money. So there's also that mindset, that belief, that idea that you need to burn into your mind of where you want to go, visualize that, picture that, meditate on it. All these things have to be kind of brought in together so that you can develop a complete idea, picture, visualization, plan, whatever, of where you want to go in life and what you want to do. And then when you get there, you got to decide whether, okay, is this where I want to stay, or do I want to go after something else? I've heard many stories of a lot of people that, they've been super successful in businesses. They walk away from that business and go start another one from scratch and challenge themselves to build it a new thing, a new idea, a new business. And then they go after another one, and they just keep doing that. And I really, really want you guys to think about life instead of life thinking about you. I really want you guys to actually invest in yourself, invest in you, invest in your time, and not just your time, but things that you can learn to give up in the process of whatever it is you're going after. Because it's not just about what you're going to do. A lot of it does come down to, what are you going to give up? What are you not going to do? Are you going to quit going out drinking every night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night with your buddies? Quit binge watching TV? Whatever that is. Sometimes it's not just in how hard we're going to work, but how hard we are going to avoid things that are not in line with where we want to go. Okay, so I'd like you guys to maybe pop over to my website, take a look around. That website is lifebymazak.com, LIFEBYMAZAK.com. On there, we got plenty of services, products. My wife makes awesome leather products, custom stuff. all kind of fun things, a lot of cool services. I love to work with people. I love to help people. And, when I work with people, I learn, they learn, everybody learns. And my clients really are the ones that do the work. I'm there to help people get started, give them some tools, give them some keys to help them move along and get going in the right direction. And so we all need those. We all need help sometimes. We all need those types of people in our lives, right? I have them as well because no man is an island. Every coach should have a coach. Every teacher should have a teacher, on and on. And I look forward to you guys reaching out to me. I got a contact page there. And I look forward to working with you guys. Stay strong and live your life.